You're going to do a Sig Heil? You're going to do a Hail Hitler? Or their rebrand a Roman salute from behind the presidential seal of the United States of America? It's on. It's on. And what is so important for us to understand is that as long as we don't give up, it's not over. It's not over.
So while many of you are seeing videos across social media of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in full meltdown mode talking about how Elon Musk allegedly pledged allegiance to the Nazis, despite the fact that this is yet another Democratic hoax that you can actually refute by letting the video play just a bit longer, I think one of the most hilarious things that is also happening in Ocasio-Cortez's district is that the local officials that actually represent everyday people that live there are demanding that Homeland Security come in, do a sweep, and get rid of about 50 illegal migrants that are creating problems in and around the community and essentially have destroyed that particular neighborhood. Now, this has been a problem area for a very long time. I'm sure you've seen a lot of reporting about Roosevelt Ave and how it's basically become a new red light district, rife with human trafficking and all of that. But guess what? It's actually worse because about 50 homeless vagrants, migrants, are in this particular area, blocking off the park and forcing the shutdown of businesses. And you would think if Ocasio-Cortez actually represented the people within her own district, this would be top of mind rather than what Elon Musk is doing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I will remind you that next month, February 15th and February 16th, is DebateCon 5. I will be doing a debate on the 16th. A link to tickets in the top of the description. It's in Newark, New Jersey, and if you're in and around the area, I would love to see you guys there. Again, all the details linked in the top of the description.
I cannot even come outside with my 2 kids.
The complaints are still coming in. These community members are frustrated with conditions they describe as horrible. They say any given day or night, this is their reality. Homeless migrants leaving garbage on the street, fighting in local parks, particularly a group of about 50 men who they say are out of control.
Drinking and getting high, urinating, defecating, and stealing from other residents. They are now dealing fentanyl.
So the area in question right here is actually Corona, Queens, and this is in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's district, the Queens part of her district, and you might remember that she was talking about how devastating things were when the coronavirus actually hit this particular area very hard, but it seems like Ocasio-Cortez has other priorities when all these different people in the neighborhood are upset. By the way, most of them are Latino people, because Corona is a Latino neighborhood, at these migrant teens and migrant adults that are fighting, attacking people, and basically making the neighborhood unlivable for working families. Again, supposedly the people that are represented by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's socialist agenda. But it turns out, as we see, the migrants take precedent over everything. The Democratic Party has made it clear illegal immigrants come first, American citizens come never, and there's no greater example of this being true other than in Ocasio-Cortez's district, because as she pledges that she's gonna fight for the illegal migrants, you have the actual citizens of the district, the actual people who work in this area, by the way, the legal migrants in this area, saying that they've had enough of the criminals and they want them out of here, and they're going around Ocasio-Cortez in order to ask Homeland Security to take care of business.
It's so bad, District Leader Hiram Montserrat says after being in business for about 30 years.
This barbershop right here is closed down today because of those 50 vagrants who have made it impossible for these people to run a successful business.
So for those of you who are listening via podcast, the name of this barbershop in question is called Los Primos Barbershop. Now, you guys might be wondering if Los Primos Barbershop is somehow the name chosen by an evil white racist, but in reality, in actuality, it's actually chosen by a Latino family that has been here, again, according to this representative, for 30 years. And of course, it has shut down because, as we've seen time and time again, crime actually drives poverty, not the other way around. And now we're seeing the blight caused by the terror from these illegal migrants affect all of these different local businesses. And wouldn't you be surprised, or you shouldn't be surprised to see that a bunch of different Latinos in and around this area are the ones rallying behind their local representative in order to do something about this. And of course, Ocasio-Cortez is nowhere to be found right here because she is off talking about Elon Musk and how we have to stop Elon Musk. And oh my God, we have to go back in time and defeat the Nazis all over again, because according to Ocasio-Cortez, that's the real threat. That's the real thing you should be worried about. And if you're in her district and you're suffering due to these illegal migrants, you just need to shut up, because we have to go get in our time machine and go fight the Nazi party in Germany.
And on Sunday, a resident was allegedly attacked by the same group. District leader Ileana Martinez has lived in the neighborhood for more than 40 years and has seen the change.
I see drunks laying on the floor all the time. I see them standing in each corner at 6 in the morning all the time. I see them in the park. I can't even take them to this park. It's disgusting. It's horrible.
So here we have another local representative, also a Latina. I would recommend that she run for Congress, that she primary Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because she is identifying the problems in this particular neighborhood that she's lived in for 40 years. Again, longer than Ocasio-Cortez has been alive. And of course, Ocasio-Cortez is like, I'm from the Bronx and all of that, even though she's from Westchester. So she has no real connection to this area, no real connection to these people. And this is proven by the way that she allegedly represents them, because as you can see, when push comes to shove, she is nowhere to be found. As you can see, when they really need her, they can't even call upon her to do this local news segment in order to address these issues. And again, the reason I emphasize Roosevelt Avenue is because the reporting on the problems at Roosevelt Avenue, which is nearby, it's adjacent to the park that they're talking about, has been going on for years now, and there has not been adequate methods to address it. And by the way, part of the reason why is due to the fact that New York City is a sanctuary city, New York State is a sanctuary state, and we have bail reform laws. So even when the NYPD does the sweep, we can't deport the illegals that are participating in human trafficking, but we can't even hold them in addition to that for participating in this, because you have decriminalized actions. And even when something reaches the level of criminality, guess what? Same day automatic release due to bail reform, also supported by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
For years in the same neighborhood, sex and human trafficking, brothels, illegal massage parlors, and other criminal activity made it hard for families to live and work here. The NYPD has sent in resources to clean things up.
Now you see right there some of the footage. Many of the women are walking on the streets. We have seen through previous reports that they are forced into this situation. This is not voluntary prostitution. You also have hidden cameras showing the massage parlors, all tucked in Roosevelt Avenue. And by the way, the NYPD has actually engaged in raids in this area, but much like the neighborhood in the Bronx that I talked about earlier in another video, guess what? The criminals just returned the next day. They don't even get moved to a different street in this area. They return to the same storefronts, the same business. And call me crazy, call me a conspiracy theorist, but isn't it wild that these criminal enterprises can somehow occupy all these different businesses without all the appropriate licenses and whatnot, and anybody who tries to run a legitimate business gets run out of town based on the most ticky-tack violations? Again, you can human traffic individuals, and your location might, and I emphasize might, get shut down for a day, even if it's an open secret widely reported in national media. But if you miss a permit or something of the sort, you're gonna get shut down really quickly, because you need to have a license for absolutely everything in the city of New York. So these people are being crushed, the law-abiding people, and their local representatives, the ones who can't say, I'm defending you at the federal level, actually have to address this, unlike Ocasio-Cortez, who again is talking about Elon Musk.
The NYPD has sent in resources to clean things up, and community leaders say they have seen some positive change, but it's not enough, and it's bigger than the NYPD.
Now, of course, the people in this community are grateful for any support that they get from the NYPD. They actually think that the NYPD is doing the best that they can, which shows you that the average voter in this particular area, when they experience the consequences of left-wing policies is more educated than many people in mainstream media. However, they completely understand that the NYPD can't do it all. They can't solve this particular problem based on the limitations that I outlined previously, i.e. bail reform and sanctuary city laws. So essentially, they're stuck with all these public spaces being occupied by a migrant gang and, of course, by the human trafficking operation that is going on slightly adjacent to the park that they just want to take their children to. Again, think about how absurd this is. In order to cater to the illegal migrants, in order to make sure they feel welcome, we have to have citizens, people who have lived here for decades, not be able to take their own children to the park, not feel safe walking the streets at night, being subject to robberies and beatings and all manner of criminality, just so we can again say we're so generous and we're so welcoming to the illegals.
I don't feel safe in this community. I've been living in this community for a long time, and I do not feel safe.
And while the first representative was obviously not Latino himself, look at the other representatives that they interview. Look at the people that they talk to in and around this neighborhood and what they have to deal with and who they are and where they're from. These are Latino Americans as well. These are people who, again, shifted dramatically towards the evil orange man in the presidential election. In the gubernatorial race, they also shifted toward the legend of Zeldin. Obviously, there is a growing movement for change among them. And by the way, even some of these people themselves that are out here trying to get these criminal migrants deported are also immigrants as well. So all of these people are trying to come together in order to stabilize their community.
The group sent this letter to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to get them to step in and deal with the behavior of the migrants.
But what really makes this amazing is that all of these people came together and they decided that they were going to write a letter to Tom Homan, aka Trump's border czar, in order to get him to target this area, get these people out and deport them, because they understand that this is a job for ICE. This is a job for immigration enforcement. This is a job that is beyond the local police.
We want Homeland Security to come here, bring their resources, do a field investigation, determine the level of criminality, and take action as they deem appropriate.
Is that not amazing? Is that not impressive that in Ocasio-Cortez's very own district, you have people rallying together to get Homeland Security in here in order to deport illegal migrants? I mean, come on, guys. If you don't sense of the winds of change coming after the evil orange man won, and by the way, in the lead up to his victory, you're just not paying attention. You're not understanding what is going on. Now, of course, I would be much happier if they voted out Ocasio-Cortez, who is going to try to obstruct Tom Homan at every possible avenue. But the fact of the matter is, right here, you see what the people actually want. You see their actual local representatives, the ones that aren't trying to be celebrities, fighting for them, and I couldn't be happier to see it. Now, by the way, they also gave the caveat that they're not against all immigration at the end of this local news segment. Make no mistake about that, because a huge portion of this population are immigrants themselves. But again, they're immigrants who did it the right way, largely the people who are advocating for the deportations for these illegals, and they're people that follow the law and just want their kids to be able to play in the park, something that Ocasio-Cortez couldn't be bothered to even consider, because, I mean, these are just the people that have the power to keep her in power, that have the power to vote for her, so obviously they don't matter unless they align with her agenda.
To be clear, Montserrat and the other community members say they welcome migrants here. It's what makes this neighborhood rich in culture. But only those who are here to add to the community, raise families, and work, not those here to commit crime.
Now, look, we will monitor this situation. It will be interesting to see if Homeland Security does a sweep here. Obviously, you have the sanctuary city laws that prevent local law enforcement from coordinating with them. But this is a case where you definitely want to see some enforcement right here, and you want to see these people happier that these people are tossed out, and Ocasio-Cortez rushed to defend the criminals, rushed to defend the people that are getting into fights, that are drunk all day, that attack the regular hardworking people, that force businesses to shut down, because make no mistake about it, she definitely will. We might get another crying photo over these criminals, over these vagrants, over these illegals, because that's who Ocasio-Cortez is to her core. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about Ocasio-Cortez's own district rallying to deport illegals. Till next time.